So actually, really interesting series of events that happened that I'm really excited to tell you about when I can tell you more about this. A couple of months ago, I spoke on stream about wanting to get back into film, TV, and theatre, because that's what I did before the whole YouTube and Twitch kicked off. Turns out that a couple of people watching were making a feature film. Now, it's not a massive feature film, but it's funded, it's decent, they've got a load of professionals working with them. And they reached out to me and said, hey man, why do you come and audition? So I auditioned, I met them, and so far, things are going good with the project. It's not massive, it's not multi-million, you know, it's not going to be like a major worldwide cinema release, but it's going to be a decent piece of art that we can create. And when I was chatting to one of the editors that was there, and he was showing me some of his previous work, and my God, man, this guy was good. And this guy was talented, he was passionate, he was skillful. I'm like, oh, wow, man, how long have you been doing this? He's like, oh, about 9-10 years. I'm like, no way. How old are you? He's like, oh, I'm 22. And I'm like, dude, you have got one hell of a career ahead of you. Genuinely, he was like so nice. Genuinely. Am I going to be Horace? No. No, although I would love to be involved in the 40k series when it actually happens, although I'd probably, if I keep working out really hard for the next like 5 years, I might have the physique of a guardsman. That's the plan. That is the plan. But you need to understand that success doesn't really have a time limit or even a moment that it starts. You can find success when you're 10 years old. If you have the right parents and the right connections, you can find success when you're 40 or 50. Someone once explained it to me like this, and this is a thing that Have I performed Shakespeare, Josh? Well, it's a couple of years ago, but, what was it? Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead. In peace, there's nothing such becomes a man as modest stillness and humility, but when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger, stiffen the sinews, summon up every spirit to his full height. On, you noblest English. Yeah, but I can't remember too much of it. But that was my favourite. So whenever I'm learning, I actually do this really weird technique. If I need to learn a speech for stage, what I do is I go to the stage I'm going to be performing on, and I put myself in the position that I'm going to perform, and I memorise one line. Then I physically move to another place on the stage and I memorise one more line. And I do this for every single line. The reason for this is it's very easy to remember one thing, and I'm also connecting in my mind my physical location with that line. I'm also showing domination of the stage by moving around a lot more, showing confidence that I'm okay in front of an audience. What that means is when I perform, I actually, if I forget the line, I go to the location that I remembered it in, and my brain kind of kickstarts because it's stored in the right location. But when I then change location and perform somewhere else, my brain goes, yep, nope, I have no idea what you're on about. We've never learned this speech before. This is entirely new to me. So there is a downside to it. I did the same with martial arts. Has anyone learned a martial arts kata before? Where you need to remember kind of certain moves at certain positions going in toward doors or whatever. Well, when I was in my training hall, I would memorise all of the martial arts kata, but I didn't realise as a kid that what I was doing was I was saying in my mind, right, now I do a punch toward the fire door. Right, now I do a kick toward the basketball hoop. And then when I went to a competition and you put me in a different room, my brain didn't have any of those connections around the room that I used to associate with moving in certain directions. And I realised that I wasn't orienting myself via my own body, which is a process called kinesthesis. I was actually orienting via the external stimulation and ideas around the room, which is a real problem. So whenever I'm learning anything now, I force myself to face different directions while I'm learning it, to walk around while I'm doing speeches from film, TV or theatre, to be in a different place, so I'm associating all of that stuff with my mind instead of my surroundings. But to link back to what I was talking about earlier. So what you're saying is you can only defend... Yeah, if somebody attacks me and there is a basketball hoop and a fire escape in the right positions, they're in trouble. They're in serious trouble. provided they attack me in the right way. You know, it's got to be an overhead strike first, because I'm going to be like, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm going to do. But to explain this earlier, someone talked about finding success and the process that you need to go through to get to success. Imagine going to a carnival or a fairground, and there is a game where you throw darts at a dartboard. And depending on the score that you hit on the board, depends on the level of success that you'll find in your next project. Whether it's a career that you're going for, whether it's a relationship, a partner, whether it's a personal hobby or an idea. Rich kids, and again, unfortunately it does come back to money. Rich kids can just pay to have more throws of the dart. That's all they can do. They just pay to throw it again and again and again and again and again until they hit something. There's a reason that so many indie musicians, their parents' names are blue on Wikipedia. You'll just throw as many darts as you need until you hit the thing you want. You're like, I'm doing that. That's what it is. Now, that might be a very noble thing they end up doing. It might be a charitable thing. I know a lot of people who have been remarkably successful in real life who have chosen to do what I think are incredibly beautiful philanthropy things with their money. They've given it to the right people, they've supported. But you can just keep throwing it. The poorer kids, they get maybe 1 or 2 throws of that dart, and then wherever it lands, that's what you're doing. And the people with very few chances, they're not throwing darts. They're working the carnival. They are the ones that are watching all the other people getting the chances that they wish they could try and have. That's pretty much what it is. It's going to hit the corner soon. That DVD's logo is going to hit the corner very, very soon. I am excited about this. So, when I say that success doesn't necessarily have a process that it follows, the reason that I always go back to that analogy, throwing the darts and money allowing you to have more darts, chances, you don't know when the next dart throw is going to come. Even if you have all the money in the world, you don't know when you're going to get a chance to do something with it. If you have absolutely no chances and no opportunities at all, you might one day meet the right person, you might be in the right place, the right position, and it just so happens that you get a dart throw. Now, I can't guarantee you're going to hit anything with it, but you get a throw. That's what I tend to go for. There's the old saying that... What is it? Is it when... luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. People always say, oh, you got so lucky. No. The opportunity arose, which was the chance to throw the dart, and the preparation, the skill of throwing the dart, was there. But it is much easier to train and prepare when you have time and cash, and it's much easier to put yourself in the position to gain opportunities when you've got a load of free time. That's pretty much it. How many darts will my kids have? None. I do not want kids ever. I'm way too selfish with my time. That's what it is. I am far, far too selfish with my own time. Don't want kids. I genuinely think that I would probably be quite a good dad, but I also know that I don't want to give up my free time. If you want to have kids, fully support you. Got lots of friends who have kids, fully support them. Personally, I don't want to do that. People always used to say to me, but you know, you can be whatever you want, you can do it. When you were a kid, adults spent a long time telling you that you can be whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, you can follow your dreams, you can put all the effort in, you've got everything ahead of you. And then when you become an adult, they spend time saying, so when are you going to have kids? And I'm thinking, no. You spent ages conditioning me to believe that I can do whatever I want and go wherever I want and have all this free time. I think kids would mess that up. I think kids would change that. So, instead of having a kid because the life script demands it, and then regretting or resenting, which would be the worst thing that could possibly happen, I thought, you know what? No. I might be the cool uncle. I might be the guy that, I've got friends that have kids and they're like, cool. Can we go and, can Josh come around? Can he play some board games with us? Can he play Magic the Gathering with us? Can we play Tekken on the TV? Hell yeah, we can. And then as soon as I'm bored, I'm like, all right, go away now. All right, sweet. Back to me time. That's the plan. I've spent ages working with kids in schools. I have nothing against children. I enjoy the process of working with kids during, hey, the DVD logo did the thing, during the formative years. In fact, I'll tell you one of the most proudest moments I ever had as a teacher. Someone on Reddit commented a few days ago saying, Josh will take any chance to bring up the fact he was a teacher, won't he? I'm sat there thinking, no. I'll also take the chance to bring up that I was a mechanic and a martial arts instructor and a paintball marshal. It's not just teacher, all right? I can be arrogant about a lot of stuff all in one go. You've got to keep up with this. But no, martial arts was fun. So the proudest moment I had as a teacher was not winning any awards, because I guarantee all those awards are just popularity contests. I was doing a martial arts class one day. We had a young kid. He was difficult. He had a difficult home life. His parents, while having the best intentions, were not necessarily the best at talking to a child, at having the patience they needed to educate the child to the same level. When I'm older, I'm going to regret not having kids. Probably not. Probably not at all. People always, I'll get back to the original story. People always say, oh, but, you know, I need to have kids to look after me when I'm older. Who will look after you when you're older? Easy, your kids. I'll just pay them with all the money I save by not raising kids. Seems easy to me. But I was teaching martial arts one day, and this young kid was having a difficult time learning punches, kicks, anything like that. So I spent hours with this kid. We just did stances. Left stance, right stance, guard up, guard down, block, inside forearm block, outside forearm block. And when his dad came to pick him up, that kid ran over to his dad and said, Dad, I know my left and right. That was all he learnt that day. He didn't remember his arm position for the stances. He didn't remember how to kick or punch. But he knew his left and right. And I couldn't think on that day of anything more relevant or long-term that I could have taught that kid. The president of Nintendo once famously said, I do not remember the lessons I learned, but I remember the teachers. I have pulled kids aside out of lessons and said, look, I have nothing personal against you at all. But you have to understand that the behavior and the processes that you are forcing this class and me to go through are not productive. This is why, this is what we do, this is what I want from you. What do you need? And I will help. It's never about punishment. It's always about help. Just write L and R on your hands like the rest of us. People have told me before that I will regret not having kids. I don't think I will, because I think it's going to be a lot easier to go on holiday without having to worry about somebody else. I am, at my core, a very selfish person. I know this. And so I decided one of the best things I could do was put myself into a position where being selfish does not negatively impact other people, especially other family members that I would then have. People always tell me that I will regret it when I'm older. That's a problem for future Josh. But personally, I don't think that I am in a position, or would want to be in a position, to spend a lot of my creative time raising a child. And if I am only having a kid because otherwise I would regret it, that again would come across as potentially a selfish choice, because I would be doing something to improve my life instead of actively improving somebody else's. Sorry you're late, you forgot the rhyme. Bubbles, I don't want to hear it. All right, I don't want to hear it. I have just dropped knowledge bombs, I've dropped wisdom, and you turn up late. Bubbles, wait outside in the corridor. I'll come and talk to you in a minute. You don't get to do this, Bubbles. You don't get to do this. Tired of it. Sick of you just waltzing in an hour and a half late. Well, half an hour. I started an hour early, to be fair. Right, let's... Yes, sir, and then a... I was going to say I thought there was a laughing emoji. Good, it isn't. It's a sad emoji. That's fine. You're allowed to be sad. No, not Bubbles. Drag, you can go and join him if you want. Go and join him. It's your own time you're wasting. I'm paid to be here. Lunchtime detention in my classroom. Both of you will sit and write a 500-word essay on why you shouldn't disrupt the class. Do I have a license for these guns? They're just BB guns, it's fine. So you're not selfish, we went full circle. Complicated. It's complicated. People often say that I'll regret doing stuff when I'm older, but like, I don't regret playing RuneScape. I think if I regret something that I can then easily change, different story. Regretting having a kid, harder to change. Can chat control the speed of the treadmill? No, because I don't want to die. Got some minor thoughts on Dino Crisis 2. I have finished the rough cut of Dino Crisis 2 Was It Good yesterday. That will be edited and hopefully out on the channel within about 2 weeks. So yeah, now you know me. Now you know me slightly more. Don't want kids. No interest at all. Hello, Mr. Hayes, looking good today. Thank you, Froggo Noms, but flattery will get you nowhere. You're also late. Go and join Bubbles outside.